everyone, my name's Emma. Today we are talking about how to stay vegan. When it comes to choices and decisions, the ones that we make every single day will help us create the world that we live in. That's what we talk about here on this channel. How can we take our power back every single day through the choices and decisions that we make that will help us create the world that we want to live in if we choose to do so. I wanted to go vegan back when I was 14, but I didn't actually go fully vegan until I was 19. I'm gonna post that video here, and for the past few weeks we've talked a bit about why I went vegan, what being vegan doesn't mean, the different thoughts about veganism. And now, if you are somebody who has been trying out Veganuary and you're interested in keeping on being vegan, what are some of the ways to stay vegan? And if you have experimented with being vegan for any period of time, you will probably have noticed some positive effects of being vegan and some negative effects. The positive ones probably being you feel better physically, you feel like you have more energy, you're caring more about what you're putting into your body. If you're being really diligent about being vegan, you're probably like reading labels, and then if you're reading these labels, you might be like, why are there so many chemicals that I can't pronounce and any of this stuff that I'm eating anyway? You might be wondering about that. And for me, being vegan really was the jumpstart to learning about the environment, the world that we live in, and how much I really had no idea about what was going on. So that might be some of the positives that you're facing. Some of the negatives you might be facing is the interactions that you've had with people. I know at this time we're not interacting with as many people as before, but I'm sure you've had people say, oh, we can't believe you're vegan, and they ask you a bunch of questions. Probably like, where do you get your protein and all of this? And I feel like that was one of the more difficult things about going vegan. Eating food to me was always super easy. I was like, I just get to eat whatever I want. And I know a lot of people go vegan and lose a lot of weight. I actually had the opposite thing happen because I didn't like eating food so much because of how bad it made me feel. It wasn't until I went vegan that I actually gained some weight. And my weight normalized once I figured out what I should be and should not be eating when it even comes to veganism. So there's a lot to learn, and people can come from all sides of the spectrum of wherever they intersect with veganism and for the reasons that they choose to. And I know that veganism is, there was probably some videos that you watched, somebody told you about something, you learned something, there was something that sparked your interest into this type of lifestyle, this type of thinking. And what I would suggest, and what has kept me vegan, what has kept me from just sneaking the little things, you're like, oh, well, it's just one cupcake or whatever. The things that have kept me from falling into those moments and falling into actually accepting those into your life and into your body is saying, you know what, there's reasons why I'm doing this, and we need to keep reminding ourselves why. It's not like we've just watched 3 documentaries on veganism, now we know everything and that's it. We're never gonna feel like we need to defend ourselves ever again, or like we need to prove to ourselves that this is the right thing that we're doing ever again. It is something that you continually grow and develop and continue to understand as you grow, and as you continue to do this, you will find even more reasons to continue to do this. Going vegan, I know for a lot of people, is a jumping off point to learning more about the environment, about the idea of sustainability, about the idea of what's happening with fast fashion and consumerism. And to me, veganism was this jumping off point that I have seen it has been for a lot of people, because if you can pay attention to something that you do multiple times a day and really take it into consideration and be like, is this something that I want to continue to do? Or is there better ways to make decisions to reflect the life that I want to live even better? We might start thinking about that in other things and other choices that we make less often than eating however many times a day that we do eat. So if you are really wanting to continue this, there's always new recipes to try. There's always fast food places that are coming out with new options that might be fun to introduce to yourself and to the people who may not necessarily be vegan, or if you going vegan has sparked a lot of questions in your family and your friend group, you of course do not need to defend yourself. Post that video here about what being vegan is not, and you do not suddenly need to become an activist for veganism. but it is something that you practice constantly all the time, and your understanding of veganism will grow and develop and change. At first, I wanted to go vegan because I wanted to have clearer skin. Now I understand veganism as being this foundational principle that I follow through every single action that I do in my life. I see it as reducing harm, exploitation, and cruelty to all animals, human and non-human. So it really is the core of everything that I do, and it intersects with so many other interests that I have and what I want to continue to do for the rest of my life. So, you can continue to learn about veganism, what it means, the different people who have spent so much time. If you do want to step into the activist realm, or if somebody says something to you, you want to be able to defend yourself or to defend the movement, or you just want to learn more about the movement because they brought up a point that you had never thought about. There's so many different ways we can educate ourselves, whether it be watching the videos or documentaries, or talking to other vegans that we may know, or finding other people online. There's this huge community out there where I keep finding new people all the time, and it's awesome getting to see how many people are actually working towards enveloping this idea of veganism into their lives and into the core of every single action that they do. And I believe that it does make you a more aware person. Just because you're more aware of something you do all the time, you're more likely going to give a second thought when you do other things. And that is one of the awesome things that veganism has taught me. But to stay vegan, you gotta just figure out the foods that you also love to eat, and figure out the foods that you don't like. And, if there's certain vegetables that you love more, or fruit, incorporate those as much as possible, and then try to sprinkle in the other ones. There's always so many wonderful sauces and recipes. I will link some awesome vegan YouTubers who have wonderful recipes, super simple, some more fancy. And as the holidays are coming up with throughout this year, you can be practicing new desserts and all of these wonderful meals. There's the alternatives to almost anything that you could think of, and I think they taste pretty good. And if you started off being vegan because you're like, I want to be super healthy, I want to do whole food, plant-based, it's awesome. And you should continue to follow whatever path it is that you want to, but also feel free to explore other items that there are. If there's an ice cream that came out that you might enjoy that's vegan, try it. There's nothing wrong with trying things and seeing what you like, what you don't like. And that's really the goal of all this, is to think about the world in a different way. And that's hopefully what veganism has already done for you. And if you have just started out with veganism, you have no idea where to start, I'll link some other resources down below that have great tips. You can talk to nutritionists one-on-one, and there is just so many resources out there that we need to continue to seek and to continue to look towards as inspiration. I did go vegan, and I didn't necessarily watch Earthlings when I went vegan, but I did watch it while I was vegan, and it just kept reminding me that the lifestyle that I'm choosing is helping everyone that I know, and helping animals, helping people who live in oppressive situations, really trying the best to be this reflection of bringing peace and joy to this world through every action that I do make. So staying vegan is definitely possible. It is something that it has now even been approved by the government in many different countries that says being vegan is completely fine, and you can meet all your dietary needs, and it is something that we continue to look towards. And being vegan and continuing to be vegan, you need to look at the resources that are out there. I've probably said that 100 times in this video, but I want you to know that that is the one thing that is going to continue to keep you in this mindset. We don't need to be bogged down. We don't need to be watching animal slaughter all the time to remind us why we're vegan. But we can continue to engage in conversations with people that think like us. And if we want to take on the activism role, engage in conversations with people and really see what they have to say and show them that what you've learned, and every single movement that we make that is in line with the person that we want to be and the world that we want to see will help create it, bring it to reality. So there's many choices we can make, and the ones we make with intention will create that world that we want to see. The choice is yours. It always has been. I hope you got something out of today's video. I will see you soon. But until then, I hope that you have an amazing day.